a very difficult time to be a peace activist in Israel. It's a very difficult time to be a religious, or like myself, an Orthodox Jewish peace activist, when we see the way in which religion has been co-opted as a force for conflict, not just in our conflict, around the world, that faith-based voices are not calling for those core values of peace, of justice, of equality, of the inherent sanctity of all human life. Far from it. We are hearing religious voices calling for more bloodshed and a lack of worth of human life. Now, Rabbis for Human Rights is really a special organization because it's comprised of over 150 Israeli rabbis who are actively trying to infuse Jewish identity in Israel with the human rights discourse. And in fact, everything I will say today, it will be around focused on human rights. Whether there be a political process in place, whether the solution will be two states, a commonwealth, one state, that the major force behind it has to be a human rights-based approach. Looking how are we making individuals, people's lives better on the ground. And the truth of that matter is we simply don't have the time. It has to be done today. We're looking at a situation where we have 2 million people experiencing famine in the Gaza Strip and inadequate humanitarian aid being provided. Facing a reality where there's ongoing military violence that are taking the lives of innocent and vulnerable people across our whole region. And we're facing a reality where human rights abuses are being carried out under the shadow of war. And so for our organization, we focus on how can we act upon our faith? How can we bring that message of the sanctity of human life? We do this in a number of ways, through education projects with post-high school Israelis, with actions on the ground. We have increased our protective presence in the West Bank for shepherding communities of Palestinians who are under threat of settler violence. And we have run a large humanitarian aid operation in partnership with many Israeli organizations who are looking to express solidarity at this time. I think that what Mohammed said about the isolation between our populations is a key factor. And an isolation maybe of compassion and of an understanding, a compassion that doesn't cross ethnic lines. And I think everyone knows that on Saturday night, the majority of Israelis and Palestinians didn't sleep or had a troubled night. The Iranian attacks, unprecedented, something that shake you to your core. And I can say, though, that on Friday night, many, many Palestinians had a sleepless night as well, because on Friday night, there was a series of settler violence attacks throughout the West Bank that have barely been reported in the international media and definitely within the Israeli media. It's just a tragic story. And maybe it's too complex for the media to really grasp what's happening, but it's something that we need your help to push against and to push for human rights in our region.